A few years ago, the world experienced the COVID-19 pandemic. Initially, it seemed like life as we knew it was collapsing. No travel, concerts, or fitness clubs. However, despite the severity, COVID was far from the deadliest pandemic in human history. Today, let's delve into a disease that was perceived as the end of the world, causing death so rapidly that bodies piled up on city streets. These are 10 fascinating facts about the plague. Today, the word plague no longer inspires terror, as cases are extremely rare. Yet just 150 years ago, merely mentioning it would strike fear into hearts. For at least 5,000 years, the plague devastated entire populations. Even ancient texts, such as the Old Testament, describe plague outbreaks. For example, the book of Samuel recounts how the Philistines suffered bubonic plague after capturing the Ark of the Covenant from the Israelites. Upon returning it, the plague also afflicted the Israelites, seen as divine punishment. Historically, plague outbreaks were local and sporadic due to limited travel. However, the first recorded global pandemic, known as the Plague of Justinian in the 6th century, severely affected Europe, especially the Byzantine Empire. Approximately 100 million people died, equivalent to billions in today's terms, given the smaller global population then. Modern scientists traced its origins to rodents in China, from which it spread via trade routes. The most notorious plague pandemic, called the Black Death, devastated Europe in the mid-14th century. Originating near modern-day Kyrgyzstan, it reached Europe via merchants and rats carrying infected fleas. By 1347, ships returning to Sicily from Crimea brought the disease, spreading rapidly across Europe. Social structures collapsed. Family members abandoned infected relatives, mass graves overflowed, and millions died. About one-third to half of Europe's population perished in just 7 years. Medieval medicine misunderstood plague origins, attributing it to miasma, or foul air from decaying matter. Protective measures included burning fragrant herbs and oils to mask the smell. Some blamed astronomical alignments or spoiled food. Unfortunately, European Jews faced brutal persecution, falsely accused of poisoning wells. Despite protection from the Pope, many Jewish communities faced violence and exile, significantly reshaping Europe's demographics. Religious fanaticism also grew during the plague, exemplified by flagellants who performed public self-whipping rituals, believing they were sacrificing themselves to end humanity's sins and appease divine wrath. Initially supported, the Catholic Church later opposed them due to their rising influence and divergent beliefs. The iconic plague doctor costume, featuring bird-like masks filled with aromatic herbs, was meant to protect against miasma. Although ineffective against bacteria, their design became symbolic. Doctors wore long robes and gloves to avoid direct contact with infected individuals. Surprisingly, many plague doctors were not medical professionals but opportunists performing bloodletting and other dubious treatments. Centuries after the Black Death, another plague outbreak occurred in 1665. The Great Plague of London. One English village famously quarantined itself voluntarily after receiving infected goods from London, sacrificing their lives to protect neighboring towns. Today, monuments commemorate their heroic self-sacrifice. Plague bacteria, Yersinia pestis, originally infect small mammals and transmit through fleas. Humans suffer 3 forms: bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic. Bubonic plague, most common, caused massive swollen lymph nodes and had a mortality rate of about 60%. Pneumonic plague, more severe, infected the lungs, killing around 80% within days. Septicemic plague, affecting the bloodstream, was almost universally fatal within 24 hours. Modern medicine, particularly antibiotics, effectively treats plague today. About 3,000 cases are reported globally each year, mostly treatable if addressed promptly. Although plague epidemics are virtually impossible in developed regions, isolated outbreaks still occur where healthcare access is limited. Could a disease as devastating as the plague emerge again, rapidly spreading and killing millions? Share your thoughts in the comments.